welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to install the trim on my windows and doors. I got the plans for the trim on familyhandyman.com. I've got a link down below in the description so you can check it out. And hey, maybe they'll put this video on their website. I've got 9 doors and 2 windows to do, so I got a lot of work ahead of me. I've also got a new toy I've been dying to try out, so let's get started. Yep, I got a new table saw. Listen to that baby purr. Most of this build is made of MDF because it routes so well and is going to be painted. I ripped all of them in half the long way to make it easier to handle and then started ripping to width on the table saw. Once everything was ripped to width, I started cutting the length according to the plans on the miter saw. The stools are made of wood because it combats moisture leaking through the window better than MDF, so I got some clear pine, ripped it down, and cut it to length. The base plinths for the door are made of a piece of 3/4 inch MDF glued to a 1/2 inch piece of MDF. I ripped the MDF to the correct height, then I added a stop block to my fence, set it a little wider than the final width of the plinths, and used my miter gauge to cut out each one. I hope you like routing, because this project has a ridiculous amount of it. I set up 2 scrap pieces of MDF to keep each piece in place and screwed them down, and look out! Make sure you hold the stop down on the first screw. I sanded off the high spots the screws made so they wouldn't interfere with the router base. Then it was time to route. 1 was really smooth, so I tried 3. 3 was super easy, so I tried 6. Easy peasy. I glued the 3/4 inch piece to the 1/2 inch piece and used brad nails to hold it in place while the glue dried. Time for the rest of the trim. I just followed the plans on Family Handyman and went to work. MDF routes like a dream, but it makes an insane amount of dust, so you'll definitely need a dust mask. Also, make sure you set the window aprons up on the thin edge so you're not like me and have to redo them after you realize you're done. The ends were the trickiest part. My temporary bench wasn't long enough to handle the longer pieces of trim, so it was a bit of a balancing act with a sharp metal bit spinning at about 4,000 RPMs. But no trips to the emergency room, so it's a win. I ended up clamping my router upside down and using the base plate as a router table, and that made the ends much easier to do. Time to put it all together. Following the plans, I put everything together using glue and brad nails. Although it helps if you have nails in your nail gun. There we go, back to work. I used clamps to hold down any pieces that had warped. I'm still not cool yet, so you should definitely hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And then tell all your friends about this channel and get them to subscribe too. Just think about how many cool points you'll get when you say you've been following Carolina Craftsman from the beginning. Am I doing a good job? Everyone's a critic. Once everything was together, I ripped the plinths to final width. And then it was finally time to paint. You can paint this by hand, but this project is a great excuse to convince your wife to let you buy that paint spray you've had your eye on. Also, don't go cheap on the paint. It may seem like a lot of money, but I painted this all in one coat and it turned out great. There's something so satisfying about watching that perfect line of paint traveling down a project. I left the casing pieces long and just painted the whole thing. You'll see why in a minute. Time to install everything. I marked out how far the plinth would come out and used an oscillating tool to cut the baseboard. Everything was installed with brad nails. To center the window aprons, I put a piece of tape near the middle of the sill, measured and marked the exact middle. I did the same thing with the apron and then just lined up the lines. I left a 1/8 inch reveal and attached with brad nails. I've discovered that nothing in my house is square or plumb or flat, so I bent the apron to match the reveal. For the casing, I labeled each piece, set it on the base, and marked where it met the door or window jamb. Then I cut it to length on the miter saw. There were a couple pieces where the door was too close to the wall to fit the whole thing, so I ripped the casing and plinths to the right width. Finally, it was time to line up the head casing and attach it to the wall. In one corner, the head casings ran into each other, so it was time to try my hand at coping. There are a ton of videos and methods on this, but the angle grinder with the flat disc seemed the fastest and easiest to me, so that's what I went with. I measured out how far the head casing was sticking out, then transferred that mark to the other side. Then I cut out the angle and grinded away to coat the joint. Not perfect, but nothing a little caulk and paint won't fix. Speaking of which, it's time to do that. I went back and forth between using my finger and a little rubber caulking tool. I think the finger method worked better, but the caulking tool was cleaner, so that decision is between you and your God. right, thanks for watching. That was a lot of dusty work. Next week, I'm gonna be doing the wainscoting and any final touch-ups, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss it. While you're at it, check out one of these videos up here, and I'll see you on the next one.